We'll move into the Can-Am UTV Hammers Championship qualifier. 2 o'clock, Jason Washburn.
For the rocks, what's different this year is that lap 2 will be harder than any lap 3 we've ever had. And it's for all classes. It's just harder. It's long. It's brutal. It's navigation because it's not a dirt road between rock obstacles like what you're seeing on most of the trails that you go on now because they've been run for 30 years. It's going to be different. It's going to be different than you pre-ran. It's going to be different than the guy that was in front of you.
Yeah, because the course changes.
The course changes.
A lot. Especially
So
with those big rocks that slide out of the way.
that's why it's more difficult. Not because it's got some 30-foot waterfall, because it's got a mile and a half of rocks in a canyon that you can't drive around and you've never seen before. And even if you try to pre-run all of it, you can't pre-run all of this race. There's more rock crawling.
That right there is why Jason has poured the last 8 weekends of his life into this car to get ready to go and compete at the highest level of rock racing. Let's check out where he's at. Let's see where he's headed. There's some really cool stuff going on today, so let's get to it.
Getting the front upper A arms done. Me and Adam had a discussion. These were supposed to have bushings out on the end of them, and we felt like going to a Heim jointed setup to be able to adjust camber and caster would be a great idea for this as a race car. So I redesigned the front part of the arm to where it would accept the Heim joint out there in the end of it, and then these are all getting rosette welded and double passed. The ball joint cups, we redesigned these as well and made them thicker wall, just heavier duty, and they've gotten double pass welded already, so it's got a real hot single pass, and then came back and did that trophy truck weave that everybody likes to see and got it all burned in. I'll get this one finished up, burned, and then I'm gonna jump on the plasma table and cut out all the rest of the front suspension mounting pieces, and then try to get those mocked up, throw the mock-up shock back in there, cycle the suspension, make sure everything's really good to go, and kind of button that up. And if we get through all that pretty quick today, probably start working on the rear toolbox and stuff in the back of it. This is all stuff we're built. It actually is pretty unique because it's going to allow you to use any off-the-shelf turbo OR parts. So anybody's suspension kit you want to run, if you're a fan of whichever company, and you can bolt all that stuff right back into the chassis. RADFLO is building the replacement shocks for this to be able to go to market to sell to even full body users and race guys alike. And it's going to be a much, much better shock package than what you're seeing in this. Neat thing about a lot of this stuff is we spent a bunch of time CAD designing the whole car out to get it to where all this stuff could be cut with CNCs.
So you're tacking those in place and then adjusting them by just grabbing onto them and putting them where you want them.
Yeah, I'm just making sure everything's nice and square, and I'm going to tack it all up, and then I'll mock the actual arm in place and make sure everything still fits before it gets welded out. I want to make sure everything works and cycles and doesn't hit. Like back in the day, you would have done all this with cardboard, and you've been cardboarding pieces out. And I always look up to Shannon Campbell. What he gets done with cardboard is incredible. Like that guy just looks at things and figures them out. The mix of that versus CAD design parts, like it would have took 2 days to hand cut every one of these little pieces out for the front suspension and get them all cleaned up and fit in here. And instead, I spent a little bit of time on the computer and then walked over to the plasma table, and in less than an hour, I've got every piece I need, and they all click and fit and go right where they need to go. And it's that mixture of new school technology versus old school fabrication techniques that I think it really just adds to the neatness of the car. switching out, and we're not going to be using the custom the bushings. We're going to have to make a couple misalignment spacers for this. And like I kind of know that going in, so for right now I just really want to see the arm in place. I'm going to be running RCV ball joints on this unit, which I'm really excited. Talked to Ricky quite a bit because they make these in 2 different styles. You can adjust preload in these, and then the lowers actually have a collar that you spin around, and it has 4 set screws that go in that are then retained by a snap ring. I think I broke about every major manufacturer's brand of ball joint at this point. I'm gonna have to clear this out. Welding process actually tightened that cup up a little bit. Devin, our machinist, made these the other day, and he made them super tight fitting. They were machined to be a super tight fit, and then all the heat that I put in it welding this ball joint cup to the arm itself actually warped it just a little bit.
It's a good looking unit.
A lot of good parts coming together on this car. Both the heim joints are hidden almost centered out real good right here. Once I get the misalignment spacers actually made, I'm gonna have to draw those up, and we'll probably run them out of our CNC machine. I can actually get that squared up and call it done, but I can tell you everything looks good. Move forward. I'm gonna come back in here, and I'm gonna end up putting a tube to brace this out right here. Might even plate the top of that in. We're talking about trying to package an air bump out here. I'm waiting to hear back from RADFLO on whether they feel like the car is going to need it or not.
Is that 188 wall?
That's 120 wall. Strength wise, I feel like we're going to be all right, and it's on video now, so when I'm wrong, everybody will know it. People have bungs get ripped out of tubes all the time, or they rip the ball joint cup actually off the A-arm. So I went back and I double pass welded all the ball joint cup in, and we increased the surface area on it. And then I actually put a rosette weld in these bungs right here, so it has a rosette weld holding it in, and then that was actually triple passed. It had a fusion pass, a fill pass, and then a cover pass with like that trophy truck weave look to it. So it should hold up, but and I just had a wicked idea that I remember from back in the day. Hauser Racing made these arms. They called them the silly cast. I think they might still make them. I don't know. I've been out of ATV racing for a long time, but they used a rod end, and then they used different spacers at the AR mount up in the top to adjust caster. And I think when we design the misalignment spacers for this, I'm going to make them narrow enough to where you could put spacers in between here and actually shift the arm forward and backward, and you can see what it's doing to the caster of the car. It's rolling the caster forward and backward while the arm's moving forward and backward. And then I can use the rod ends that are in here to adjust camber, and that's going to give us the ability to set it up for desert. We can set it up for short course. We can set it up for woods racing. Help spread load on that upper mount back there. Take a big hit like this way. It helps keep all that from trying to wad up. Race lines are going sweet on there.
We're leaving here in like 2 weeks, and you're behind the machine. What are you working on right now?
Well, you know, where Jason was talking about running those spacers in the front, we added a rod in there with no misalignment, so the chassis tab width's different than what it should be. So what we're doing is just going to whip out a custom machine spacer that takes up that difference that he was talking about. So I drew this spacer, just got the profile. See this dude? So that fits right in there. And then we're actually going to machine another wide spacer that's about 3/4 of an inch wide, then an 1/8 inch wide spacer. That way, whenever we're moving this in the tab, we can set that the caster of the vehicle, move the A-arm wherever we need to be. Most of the time whenever I would do this, I'd set it up on a bar pull. This is just a quick op for us. I mean, man, I just kind of set my material in here by taking the calipers. I've got it locked down. It doesn't have to be real even because it's going to come in and face that material off anyways. So hit go, does a tool change, and goes right to work. Can't hardly see it with that glass, but throw it on there and then spin us. Two of these little fellas out right here.
Wait, so it pops the part out right here?
Absolutely, when we're done.
I did not even know that. I thought that was just a waste bucket.
No, that's called a parts catcher.
No way.
What? No way.
What? No way.
So yeah, we get these all machined up. We'll go back to the car and check out what we're talking about with that adjustability.
Left a little access panel right there where you can actually change spark plugs and coils out without taking the box out.
I wonder how you learned that.
Yeah. I can tell you where we do have a problem is they've changed this over the years because this used to just plug in up here. So I'm going to have to order a couple elbows and either some stainless or some aluminum tubing and build a new intake piece that runs up around there. More money.
More money.
More
Aluminum
money.
intake. Cooler sounds.
Let's figure out how we can throw more money at this project. That just happened right there. See that right there? More money.
Seems to be the theme here.
Yeah. Actually fits pretty good though. Throw a couple mount brackets back here to hold it and mount bracket up here to hold it.
Don't suggest anything to Jason because he's probably already thought of it. And it's
What do
probably
you already think of?
That is absolutely not what you need to do. When you have an idea or a suggestion, you need to come forth with it. Come over here and check this out, Hunter. I'm going to show you a little something about how cool your idea is and tell me that you're actually on the right page with where you're going with your thoughts right now. So there's the tire carrier in the down position and the lid in the closed position, and if you click that, you'll see that the spare tire comes up and the lid comes up with the spare tire.
It's pretty.
That's clean.
Pretty sick.
Yeah,
In CAD, that is a 37-inch tall tire.
that is a 37-inch tire.
Makes it look small.
It messes with you when, depending on what you got around it to give it perspective, but yeah.
So let's actually look at it. This toolbox consists of the bottom piece you just did, side pieces welded to it, obviously a back piece.
If we delete this, you can see the inside where the air box is actually mounted up in the front right there, and the air filter rides in that part of the housing right there. And then there's a lid right here that comes out, and this is so you have access to your spark plugs and coil packs in case you need to get in there quick. You don't have to remove the entire unit to get it out to access these. It'll be 6 bolts right here around this in a circle. And it's long enough to have spare space in here to where the RCV spares will be run right in here that I highly doubt I'm gonna have to get out and actually use.
That's awesome.
Plenty of room in here for tool bags and...
When you engineered it like that, you wanted to carry some spare axle shafts, but you know the regular off-road guy is going to want to carry spare shafts, so that's kind of the thought process there.
Yeah, and then like up here in the top, there's a piece not shown in here that I've done on the last probably like 2 or 3 of these I've built. I've bend up a little piece of 125 that's just really close to the thickness of the belt, and then you can stick a belt right in there and it hangs out in the top of the spare tire lid.
What you got?
Fine, I got a hoodie pocket full of stuff.
Hoodie pocket full.
Cool. Yeah, we do need that other spacer, right? You can't go to centered now without.
I can't go to centered without the other 1/2 inch one, but if you had a 1/2 inch one, you'd run a 1/2 inch with a combination of 2 1/8 inch, and that would give you the full
then
spectrum.
You don't have enough 8s. You need 16 3/8 spacers. Not 8. You need 16. 2, 4, 6, 8.
No, just the uppers.
Just the uppers.
Just the uppers. The lowers right on
so
bushing.
you just need 2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah, it's just 8.
That's the deal with them. You can throw away.
Actually, those I hang on to because we still have adjustability, more adjustability using these with those combos.
Gotcha. All right. This will give us the spacer in here. Then you can go.
You can go anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere of a spectrum in 1/8 inch increments.
Yes.
All right, so we've got these spacers now. This is going to let us stack that thing in there like what you had in mind, right?
Yeah, I feel like with the thick one, the medium, and the small, now we have infinite adjustability of how far we want to go. Either way, we can get all of it.
Absolutely. So
if everything's right, those should slide right in.
That 3/8 and that 1/8 inch spacer in there, that dude, and that dude. So now we've got to where if we want to move this A-arm, we just move these shims around in whatever little game that we want to play with it of actually being able to really do it. And then also with the tab width now, even if this isn't right, we can still come back and build anything that's infinitely is right.
Yeah, we can keep
all
building. And you still have a little bit of adjustability left in the rod end too. So you can use these to do the rough tune, and then we can sit here and just clock this one in and pull this back a little bit, push it forward a little bit to get the caster dialed in.
I love that idea. Also, and I didn't even think about it, but I mean, like Kevin's front A arm on his car has got a little tweak in it. It's trying to rub the bypass tube. He runs out of this adjustability all the time. It's like, I never thought about it from the fact of if you bend an arm at the track, you don't have another arm to put on it. We can adjust it back, go to a new arm when we get home.
Yeah. If I smack this dude into a rock even during the race, it actually wouldn't be too awful hard to throw my jack underneath of it to support the weight. And I could swap the spacers. Like if I crush this and it's getting in the shock, I could stop and switch this.
You really could. Yeah.
I mean, 5 minutes to save the race will be worth it in a race like King of the Hammers. I ain't gonna say it'd be worth it in a woods race or something, but
yeah, but I mean, finishing is finishing. That's pretty awesome.
Finishing.
Cool. All right, that's got that knocked out.
So yeah, guys, we hope you enjoyed this video. Jason and the whole crew is going to be here finishing up the car this weekend. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to do a whole assembly edit on the car. And then I'm assuming the last week will just be tying up the loose ends. We'll be loading up on the following Saturday and heading out to the lake bed to have one awesome year at KOH. So if you're going, we'll see you out there. If not, you'll see some content and we'll catch you next time.